In the short term, if you're taking hydroxychloroquine on its own, it's safe. You didn't have an increased risk or a relatively increased risk of getting any complications in comparison to people who are taking sulfasalazine. But in the longer term, there was a relative increase in the risk of people having heart problems, so cardiovascular outcomes that were associated with an increased risk of death. And that was increased, the relative risk increase was 65%. For hydroxychloroquine with the antibiotic, in the short term, there was a twofold, a doubled relative risk of cardiovascular related death. And that's why when we found these things, we obviously wanted to get them out as soon as possible, because we were finding some things that were really significant.
That we could independently ask of 14 data sources the exact same question, and then executing using the exact same analytic routines and seeing consistent answers across sources really increases our confidence in the findings than were we to get an answer from a single database on a single population alone. The value of running a study across so many countries and so many sources is that it represents the true diversity of real-world experience that cannot be captured in a single source alone.
Then I'd look at my emails and it'd be like, oh, there's an article in Forbes about us. Oh, and actually Science want to speak to us as well. And then, you know, you're starting to hear from mainstream media saying, can we have a conversation with you? I think it just epitomizes what's happened in 2020 with COVID as well, because it took over every part of our lives. That suddenly the mainstream media said, okay, we want to know more about this.
The power of the OHDSI community is its collaboration, and bringing so many extremely bright people with such breadth of experience and knowledge of different disciplines was the only way that a study this large could have been completed with such rigor at such pace.